Today we award the Juris Doctor degree to 256 talented women and men who have completed 3 years of full-time study. During this period, your legal abilities and career options have risen at an incredible rate. In other words, you have outpaced the value of the stock market by a wide, wide margin. It's now my pleasure to introduce the class speaker for the JD class of 2009, its president, Jimmy Finelli.
Thank you so much, Dean Fitz, for that warm introduction. And thank you to Justice Magaro, family, friends, and the best class Penn Law has ever seen for being here today. That's right. Before I begin, I just want to say, although I can't see any of you, I love that I can still hear Tamidi's laugh. So I think that's a good sign for how we're doing tonight. Also, it's actually kind of funny because I performed on this stage 15 years ago with the Philadelphia Boys Choir, and my voice hasn't changed. So apologies to everyone for choosing me as your class speaker. Thanks. But anyway, the news that I would be the class speaker reached me on the same day as the Philadelphia premiere of Milk. As I sat in the movie theater watching Sean Penn's portrayal of Harvey Milk, the nation's first openly gay elected official, I was amazed by the strides that the lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgendered, LGBT rights movement has made in such a short span of time. You can clap for that. 30 years after Harvey Milk's murder, we have Will and Grace reruns, proposed federal legislation to prohibit employment discrimination based on sexual orientation, and one of the nation's top law schools has again embraced an openly gay man as its class president / glorified event planner. But this is not a lecture on the LGBT rights movement. The real takeaway is that 30 years did not produce the desired change. Individuals, like Harvey Milk, produced that change. As Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. recognized in his letter from a Birmingham jail, human progress never rolls in on wheels of inevitability. It comes through the tireless efforts of men willing to be co-workers with God. And without this hard work, time itself becomes an ally of the forces of social stagnation. President Obama's election demonstrates the neutrality of time and the power of the individual alone to create lasting social change. During the primaries and national election, pundits and voters alike posited that America just wasn't ready for a black president, that we needed more time. By not waiting 4 more years, by not waiting for society to slowly open its eyes to the idea of a black president, President Obama's candidacy forced the nation to examine its conceptions and confront its unachieved promises. In doing so, President Obama broke through the highest of glass ceilings and became an inspiration to America and around the world. And like President Obama, the class of 2009 hasn't waited to become agents of change. And the impact of our contributions have been immense, felt at both the global and deeply personal level. During their very first semester, 1L year, Erin Argueta, Erin Valentine, Rashmi Ramakrishna, Allison Stein, and Eric Foley made a global impact by founding the Penn Law International Human Rights Advocates, which has since partnered with organizations in Nepal, Uganda, Namibia, and more on projects related to transitional justice and human rights. Other O9ers have helped the community closer to home. For example, Justin Aaronworth served as Deputy Director for Voter Protection in Pennsylvania and organized over 3,000 attorneys and law students to help protect the rights of voters at polling locations across the state. And finally, graduates like Yael May and Anna Maltaban have helped individuals directly. Yael and Anna successfully obtained asylum for a Chinese woman who had fled China for fear of persecution for her association with the Falun Gong. These are just a few examples of the breadth and depth of the class of 2009's commitment to public interest. None of you waited to make a difference, and I'm ridiculously proud of each of you. Who knows how the admissions office did it, but they must have seen something special in our applications, in our personal essays, LSAT scores, and bribes. Because they put together a class poised to challenge the inadequacies of the status quo and foster positive social change. And in true Penn Law tradition, they created a class poised to accomplish all of this with style. And that goes doubly for Eileen Ma. But reading abovethelaw.com and checking our inboxes was a scary, scary process this year. Deferrals were all the rage with America's biggest law firms, and funding for public interest organizations began to shrink. Still, despite these rough times, our class kept smiling and joking and laughing, a testament to the strength and joie de vivre of our class. We've all experienced some bumps along the road to our success, and this economic recession is no different. Although many of us now face more uncertainty than we may have liked, we are armed with one of the best degrees in the country, and more importantly, a support network sitting to the left and right of us that will make sure that we never flounder. Like we always have, we need to remember that in this time of turmoil, we are still the fortunate few. Our responsibility is to remain true to the principles that brought us to this moment, champions of those whose voices are drowned out by bureaucracies and intolerance, active agents of positive change, leaving our mark on the world in gratitude for the opportunities we've been fortunate enough to receive. And as gratitude, we must also thank everyone who have helped us get to this point. I would like to thank the class board, especially Licia Grant, my right-hand woman, for helping to make our last year at Penn Law a blast. I would also like to thank my family for all their love and support. And finally, I would like to thank my second family, the entire Penn Law community. Being surrounded by all of your intelligence and drive and spirit has motivated me and pushed me to be the best I could be. And although we leave the halls of 3400 Chestnut, the beige cushy chairs of the clock, and the warm sunshine of the courtyard, we will forever remain members of the Penn Law community. So like always, we have to continue doing what we've always done, making a difference, now. As Dr. King wrote, "For years now I have heard the word wait. It rings in the ears of every Negro with piercing familiarity. This wait has almost always meant never. We must come to see with one of our most distinguished jurists that justice too long delayed is justice denied. Don't wait, Penn Law class of 2009. Let's make our mark. Congratulations to all of you."